Hi everyone, I'm Vone Kevitz, knit and crochet designer for one-of-a-kind makers who dare to be original. And today I feel like I wish I had that horn, you know, that wah, 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 wah. I don't know what that horn sounds like, but you know. Because the Mary pattern is finally live and I released it on Thursday and it feels amazing. So the tutorial video is out on YouTube and the link is below, and the pattern on Etsy is below. So go check it out if you guys are interested. And I'd love to hear any feedbacks, comments. If you tried it, let me know what you guys think of it. If you watched it, let me know what you think of the tutorial. If you have any suggestions, share them with me. If you've done it, please tag me. If you take pics and tag me. I love seeing your creations. I love seeing your spins. I love seeing your interpretations of anything you guys make, basically. I love watching and seeing and supporting all the beautiful things you guys make. So let's start this meeting with a prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for another amazing day and another amazing time that I get to spend with my beautiful creatives, and just the sheer relief of finally creating and getting out there in the world the gifts that you've put upon me, and helping me get over any barriers that I put upon myself. Amen. All right, guys. So I'm going to give you a couple. Hopefully people have joined. So hopefully I'm going to have some takers today, because I have an awesome new feature. If you guys are watching, please say hi. I have an awesome new feature that's going out there. Check out that beautiful thing. I learned something brand new over last week, and we tried it for last week's Monday Morning Motivation, and so I couldn't wait to come in and try it for this live, and I'll make it so much more fun. So when you guys leave comments or comment, I can highlight it and share your comments so the viewers can see what you guys are saying and what I'm commenting on, which is going to be such a fun feature in these lives now. Awesome. Good morning, Juniper. We got a taker. Let me see if I can do it. There we go. Hello. Good morning, Juniper. Isn't this an awesome feature? So if you have any questions, I can highlight it and then comment on it. But I'm going to keep you on until the next person comes on. So have you had a chance to check out the video yet? I was, so Mary checked it. Mary's the pattern. Ellen checked out the tutorial before I released it to everybody, and she gave it a thumbs up and her final approval on it, because it is her yarn from Senko Farms and so I wanted to get her opinion on it. And she said she loved the video, but she actually she says the sweetest thing to me, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it. So this is the Mary pattern, y'all, and pretty soon, this is probably going to be like the last time I actually show in a video, because in the next round I will be bagging this beautiful thing up, and it will be going into my Etsy shop. So, I did not tie my hair right. So this is how it works. This is wrap it around, and it goes into the slit, and there's the Mary pattern. And so there's my hair. So I like to wear my scarves this way because I'm so cold all the time, and especially now it's like 16 degrees in Northeast PA, so it is a cold day today, and it's going to be snowing. And I may want to keep this bad boy and end up putting in my Etsy shop after all, but we're going to try to resist temptation, right? And share it with some lucky, beautiful person who will grab it in my Etsy shop. So Mary, there I go again. Ellen said to comment, she's like, you need to be doing like audiobooks with your voice, because she loves my voice when I was doing the tutorial. And you did see it. Thanks. Awesome. I love that feature. It's so cool, right? It is so awesome. It makes it so much more fun now to chat and communicate. You did see the tutorial. That's awesome. So what'd you think of it? And did you try it? She said that she loved my voice, and I find it so fascinating. It still fascinates me to this day that one of the first things people comment about my tutorials and my videos and everything is how much they love my voice. And the reason why I say that, not to brag or anything, because the one reason why I hated being recorded my entire life, and I've always said, don't record me, don't record me, don't record me. You don't have my permission. I used to say it all the time until I became on YouTube, and I was like, even then I hesitate. I don't want to be recorded. I'm like, people are going to make fun of my voice. I sound like a boy, and I hate it. And it stopped me from doing it for the longest time. I became so afraid of it, and when my first video came out, that was one of the first things people said was how much they liked my voice. And I was like, this is how fear is so strong. And this is how the enemy works against you in your head, is that the things that you like resist on, like the stories that you tell yourself, they're the things that hold you back, but it's also the things that's not true. It's, you know what I mean? I resisted doing that and stayed away from that for the longest time. And even to this day, like I listen to it and I'm like, oh, you sound like a raspy. Like I always said that I sound like a boy going through puberty. I sound like a teenage boy going through puberty. And so I hated my voice. But that's what everybody compliments on. And the funny thing is when I listen to recordings and I like artists and musicians, I love the low tone singers. I love the low tone readers in the audiobooks. Like, so it's what I'm attracted to. It's what I like, but yet I was the harshest critic of my own voice. Isn't that crazy? Oh, I love to eat a creature. Thank you. Very clear. Good. I'm so glad. Good angle to follow along. Good. That was my point. And I jammed in so many lessons. I jammed in so many lessons in that tutorial because I wanted to show you guys how to do a crochet basket weave. It's a front and back post stitches, which everybody gets so like intimidated by. Even when they see it in patterns and they see it written out, they just get so intimidated. Like, what are you talking about? A double and a yarn over and into the front, wrap it to the front. What do you mean by wrap it to the front, wrap it to the back? Like, it just intimidates them when they see the instructions. But when they see it on video, it's very, very different and so easy and so simple. So that's why it's so important that I put these videos out, and so grateful that YouTube is a platform that allows me to make videos easy and share tutorials with you guys about it, and then add them into the patterns, so to hinder any complications that people might feel about being afraid to read patterns. Because there are a lot of creatives, there are a lot of handmade makers that are terrified, like a lot of knitters and crocheters that don't read patterns because it intimidates them, you know. But what's great about looking at a pattern and seeing a video is you get to see it and you get to read it and it makes sense. And the written word sometimes is way more complicated. But I'm glad that the video was clear, and I'm glad that it was simple. How did you like how I weave in ends to show you how to crochet over weaving in ends? So yeah, in that video, I show you how to, you don't have to weave in any ends except for the very last part, which is weaving in ends. And because I hate weaving in ends, like I hate it with a passion. I can't tell you how much. But there are some crazies out there that love it. Like they love it. They do granny squares like crazy because they love the aspect of sitting down one day and weaving in all the ends. Like to them, it's very therapeutic and cathartic for them. But for me, it's just like a pesky nuisance task that I had to figure out how to overcome, because once I found out that I hated it, and then I would never finish the project because I had all those weaving ends until I figured out how to do it while I was crocheting. And then it helped the whole process a lot easier. But people get intimidated by that too. And I show you how to do it inside of the front and back stitch double crocheters, because a lot of people don't know how to do weaving in ends while you're crocheting a double crochet because of the extra tier. So that the video also covers that part. Another part it covers is wait, I do want to address this part because Ellen said I should do audiobooks. I would love to, but I don't know how to even go about that. So I was like, you it sounds like a dream job of mine. When I finish my book and I do publish the book, the one thing I was like, I don't know how I'm going to market the book. I don't know how I'm going to share the book, but I'll tell you one thing for sure. I will do an audiobook for that book because I'm definitely going to read, because I love audiobooks. So I will definitely be reading my own audiobooks, my own audiobook for sure when the book is finished and releases. I love that about weaving in ends. It's such a neat way to do it as you go along so you don't have so many to do at the end. I don't like weaving in ends either. Awesome. So did you already know this technique, or did you learn the technique from watching the Mary tutorial? Just curious. Because whenever I tell people that I do it, it's like a 50-50 shot of people telling me, oh, they already do that. Or sometimes they're like, no, I've never learned it. I'd love to see it. And that's why I made sure I included it in the video several times over, because when I show you how to do the split, the split, which is the fun part about tucking in your scarf, like I thought that was a great feature in there too. So so you had to hide in the ends on here because you had to pick up the ends over here. So basically you're weaving in ends, crocheting over ends at the beginning, and then here and here. So that's 3 times to learn that weaving in ends technique, crocheting over the ends technique on there to help you master that part. And this is one of the tougher stitches to do oh, that's awesome. This is one of the tougher stitches to do, that weaving in, like crocheting over the ends, because it is a double crochet in a front post and a back post, and you're still trying to figure out how to navigate through it. But did you see how easy it was to just figure it out as you go? And once you know how to hide that end, it just becomes like intuitive of where to, because what you want to do in the principle of it, no matter how difficult it is, which this one was one of the more difficult ones, and you see how easily it is. Once you get through and see the pattern of what you want to do is crochet over and make sure your end is where it's going to be, that you crochet over it, it just becomes intuitive of where you can hide that end, like very easily. You know what I mean? So to avoid the loops, and it completely covers it. You don't see anything. You won't have any extra loops. You don't have to worry about it snagging and coming out somewhere. So I'm glad you knew the technique for the single crochet, but you didn't know how to do it for anything else. Awesome. So you felt more confident now in it? That's amazing. We could assume that you are more confident because you had 3 chances to try that in that. And then I can't take my hand, I can't stop touching that because it is so soft and squishy. Seriously, her wool yarn is so lovely and luscious. A sweet friend, Sultana's Crochet of mine, a sweet friend of mine, she is allergic to wool, and I feel so bad for her because I'm like, oh my God, she's missing out. She's missing out on this wool. And the funny thing is, not all wools are equal. So I have the first wool that I ever had and I've used was one I got at a local yarn shop out in Wilkes-Barre, and they they had like this variegated hand dyed wool that I got, and I used it, and it's the purple one on my Etsy shop, and that's a rough wool, and it was rough like to work with. It's beautiful, it's beautifully made. So I had to use a seed stitch. I did a simple seed stitch for that scarf, and allowed the the knit to be soft, because the seed stitch is nice and plush and soft, and then it just showed the variegation of the color, which is the feature, like, which is the beauty of that yarn and that scarf, was the hand dyed and the variegation that it progressed along the scarf. But that wool is rough and like almost scratchy, so I could see how some people are allergic to that, or they like their skin gets irritated by that, but not Ellie's wool. This is her Lila sheep crossbreed, is like super soft and super lush. And I'm so glad, Juniper, that you definitely feel more confident with it now. That's awesome. That is so awesome. If you stay tuned, maybe throughout I could show you the other difficult part of weaving in ends would be when you actually change yarns, like change colors. So you're nervous about if I ever get that opportunity, which I'm sure we'll work into it because I plan on creating a lot more this year, uh, and designing a lot more, that if I ever get the opportunity to film like how to weave in ends when you change colors, so that one row, like one row can be blue, and the next stitch will be pink, and you can't hide the end with the blue where the pink is, but I can show you exactly where you can weave in that end so that the pink gets buried in with the blue and pink part, and the blue never gets, so you know what I mean, hidden at just the pink part. So that part gets, it's a slight complication, but not really, and you know what I mean, it's the same intuitive method and thinking. So if I ever get that opportunity to try it, I will definitely share that technique too. So that might be the most complicated ways people will get intimidated by weaving in the colors when it's different colors. But so that's why they'll just leave it go so that they can hide it in afterwards where the pink is and where the pink is, and the blue where the blue is. But there's a way to get around that where you can still crochet over the ends and that too, and still hide the colors. So that is cool. So Juniper, make sure you please make sure if you do finish or you do create it and you complete it, take some pictures and let me know and tag me, and I would be I would love to see what you did with the basket weave. That would be a great thing to learn. I just did some double-sided Tunisian crochet, and the stripes were so thin it was hard to weave in the ends. So it's actually hidden. Yeah, I honestly do not. I've done Tunisian crochet one time, possibly twice, and I'm not sure if I could teach you in the Tunisian crochet way, but it's the same principle. So if you see how it's done um, during like the regular crochet, let's do that. Let's do that. What do we have? I have 40 minutes left in my hour. That's the point of making these, right? I wanted to do these live sessions so that we can create together, and I wanted you to join me live. So if you have questions, you can ask, and I can show it to you. Because as you know, I don't like to brag, but I do like to brag. I am a crochet master, so it would be silly if you're not joining me and learning from me every single Saturday if you have a crochet question. That's all I'm saying, especially for free people. Let's see, what do we want to grab? Let's grab this bad boy, and let's grab another easy to look at. Let me just get let's do a black. Let's do a black. Let me grab. I'm glad that let's see if I can use this big hook. It'll make it stand out better, but it might. Let's see what we're gonna do here. Let's start off with, I need to make it thick. I don't have the correct hook. I wasn't preparing for this, but let's just do it. This might be too big of a hook. By the way, what are your favorite hook sizes? Hey, I did not stand up, and that wasn't giving you guys permission to think that we're done here. Look at on camera, I crocheted the wrong direction. Don't you love how, oh, by the way, do you notice how my videos are unedited, Juniper? So when I make a mistake, you see me undoing my mistake, and then I show you how to do it the right way. And if I miscount, you'll see me recounting and recounting until it makes sense. And the reason I choose to do that on purpose, two reasons. One, I'm really lazy in editing, and that's the first reason. Is I'm really lazy in the editing process, so I don't want to do that. The second reason is I want to show people that you can make a mistake and you don't have to get frustrated, and there's another solution as long as you just work at it and keep going with it, you know, and then the solution presents itself as long as you see it. And maybe a third reason is that to even to show you that even people who do it all the time and who make 50 to 100 items will still make a mistake, and they can fix it on the spot, and nobody's perfect. That's the point of me keeping them in there. So I always get a slight pang of, oh, they're going to be so annoyed that I'm keeping this in here. And then I change my mind and I'm like, no, they won't, because you know what? Everybody makes mistakes. And people need to see that and embrace it and learn how to recover from it. And, you know, but let me, I want to do one row of this. And this is way big. Like I'm using an M for a little thing when I should be using like an H hook, which I may turn around to do. But the reason why I'm using this big one is I want to show it quickly and big. So I want to get like the height in there. And I'm hoping that in my head, I want to show you what I'm trying to do, but I didn't plan this out, so I don't know how well it's going to work out. But if you guys are joining, say hi. Let me know who's here. You get to be featured on this my new this new thing where I guess it's not new. It's not new for the platform. It's new to me. I see YouTubers do it all the time, and I'm always jealous that they are so high tech and so computer savvy that they know how to get people's comments on their screen. But my hubby showed me how to do it the other day. Oh, look at him at the end. So I'm going to, if you don't know what I'm talking about here, so we're at the end, and I'm just going to show you how to crochet over, which this is in detail in my latest Mary tutorial video, which the link is below this video. So we're just weaving in the ends and carrying up the middle here. Wait. And I'm gonna ignore that one. I'm gonna do 2 rows of this, and then I'm gonna jump in and do the other 2 rows of that, and I'll show you exactly how to change colors. And the principle still applies. So we're gonna carry over the yarn. I don't know if you can see it from this way, but like I said, you can watch this part in detail of that video, that you'll see it from the angle that you would normally see how I would carry over this end. But Juniper, can you, let me see what she just said. I love that you keep in the mistakes. Like you said, sometimes it's so easy to people who are really experienced and think they don't make mistakes anymore, and people use that to measure and criticize themselves, and they shouldn't. Exactly. Well, you know what the thing is? we forget. I think the reason why people do perfectly edited videos is because they want it polished and concise, you know, because time is money. And a lot of people don't have time to see my mistakes, right? Or to see me work throughout my imperfections. But at the same time, and I do like those videos and I do appreciate the well-edited videos, but I'm also a professional myself because I know how to fix those mistakes. But you have to remember who the audience is, and the majority of the time that people find my videos or watch my videos or watch any how-to video, it is because they are inexperienced. So they look for the how-to videos, right? And it's frustrating to see it perfect, but what if you make a mistake? And then like the newbie who makes a mistake, you just pause and you tense up because you're like, wait a minute, is this now garbage? Do I chuck this? Because I don't know how to go back and fix this. I don't know how to recover from this. So I think it's important to show that and share that, because when you see me work through my mistakes, it just makes it easier for you to, when you make one, to go through it and work through it yourself, you know? And that's the point of me leaving them in also, besides my number one reason of being lazy and editing. But that is really the reason why. I can get over lazy and not. Okay, I'm about to change colors. So you can see how I did that. And this is a really big needle. I think I'm gonna change to the little needle now. I don't have my scissors. Oh, I'm gonna change to that little. Hey, fancy pants, you guys, you know, I'm in the middle of something here. When I get excited, they get excited. So they think that it's like game time or something. So in a double crochet, you yarn over one, and then you know how to change colors, right? So it's right at the last one. And there's your next one. It's right at the last one. So you yarn over, so you have one part in, and then the last part from the row before. So you don't change colors at the next row. Here's another fun thing. Here's another question. Do you pull your yarn from the outer edge, like this part, you know, which is out here, from the outer edge, or do you, just gonna wrap that up, or do you take it from the inside, from the middle, and do like a temporary yarn vomit? I know people get terrified of this moment, but just grab the inside the most as you can, pull this out, and you deal with a little yarn vomit in the beginning, which people hate, so they don't bother with this part. So they'd rather struggle with being out here, and then it has to unwind and unwind, and this is the correct way to pull it. And it seems a little intimidating at first, because see how all this thing comes out? And this is one of the better ones to pull out. But if you take the time to just do that and work through this part, then this part gets a lot easier as you pull out throughout your project. So I like a little bit of yarn vomit in the beginning. So right before you start the row, which is the last stitch of the previous row, you're going to change colors. And I'm just going to pull it up, and you're going to see, do you see how this, we're just going to cut this part off because that was the tail end from the beginning of the row. And now, do you see how you're starting the row with this color? So you don't want to wait to change yarn from this point where you do it and then you pick up this one, because now that black is going to be the first stitch of the next row. So you don't want that. You want to back it up, and you want to put the green in the previous row before, the last stitch in the previous row before, because now the first stitch will be this green. And so you're going to carry this up, right? And I'm just going to carry this up to this point. Now, mind you, my first stitch will now be green. So now what I'm going to do is leave this black, because I don't want to carry up this black up where this green is going to be. So what I'm going to do is only carry up the green, okay, to my 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. And then what you're going to do is grab this black and hold it down here, because you're going to crochet over the black from here. You're going to carry the weave in from the color up top. Does that make sense so far, Juniper? You follow me? Anybody else? Okay, so you're going to yarn over, and I'm going to go into the next stitch over, pull my black end, which is at the bottom here, yarn over, move in my top end of the green, which is the normal way, you know, to do, like the one I showed you at the on the Mary tutorial. See how up top, so you carry, like, move the yarn over from the green, and at the bottom we're crocheting over the black at the bottom here, and then up top move the green over, and we're crocheting over the green up top. Does this make sense? Perfect. I pull the yarn from the center. Good morning, Sherraine. Am I saying that right? Sherraine, I like that the yarn. Oh, you like the yarn from the center too? And that makes sense. And yes, it makes sense. Awesome. So, do you see how, like, less intimidating? So now the bottom, you're crocheting over the back, the black at the bottom. When in the perfect world, when I'm not making it this beautiful lace, big lace. Look at, see, so the black is at the bottom, and then crochet, and then bring the green up top. Oops, I made a mistake. So I didn't make a mistake. I dropped the stitch. So I'm gonna do it again. Yarn over, gonna crochet over the black at the bottom, and then carry the green up top. So the green is at the second stitch, and the black is at the bottom stitch. And now you're crocheting over ends with 2 different colors, and the black is not where the black is, and the green is where the green is. Does that make sense? And this will be your most difficult part to weaving in, like crocheting over the ends with 2 different colors and keeping them separate. And awesome, I said your name correctly. I'm so glad that you're joining. It's your first time here in live with me. So that's so exciting. Sherraine, did you check out my latest tutorial? All right, I'm gonna cut this black now because I'm getting loose. So let's see, I'm gonna finish this up because it is so much fun to crochet. And all right, so I want to finish this little thing up. So now that you know this principle, would you be able to apply it with that Tunisian crochet, Juniper, if you can figure it out? Only because like I said, I've done it twice. It probably, and the reason why I never stuck with it, but I see a lot of people doing a lot of Tunisian crochet right now on my Instagram feed. So I may get back into it and try it again. And but the reason why I learned Tunisian crochet is because it's crocheting that looks like a knit, but when I did it, it was it curled. My scarf curled because it was a knit. I didn't know how to do the edges to make it straight and flat. So there goes my green is almost done, and my black. Oh, I have one more green left, and my black, I'm almost done. And I just want to finish off my black here. And so this vomit right here, you get through this point and it's easy sailing, but most of the people don't have the patience for this, or I should say some people. So what they would rather do is unwind it from the outside, and that to me is a pain. It is a pain to keep spinning it and twirling it around. I'm almost done, and I just want to finish row. And you know, the other thing is when I'm doing this part, this is the this is the part that I can't finish. I can't stop my work until I get through this part. So I will keep working on my project until I get to this point, until I get to the clean part, and then that will be my part where I like stop my project. So until then, the hubs is getting uh one more row, just one more row, honey, just one more row. Let me like I can't stop at this point, you know, is what I will tell him because I'll keep going until I can until I get through the whole yarn vomit, until I get to the clean center. I'll keep going until then. It's like a little game I play with myself. And that's it. So give it a little tug and then boom. So now we're at the green and you can go up top and that's it. Wow, this center is like really a pain here. There we go. I think I found the knot. There we go. And boom. So that's it. See, crocheting over the ends, double colors. Don't see anything. The black stayed at the bottom and the green stayed up top. And now you can crochet over it. But not sure, but I think it's going to take some practice to figure out how to adapt it to Tunisian crochet. Exactly, but it will be, you'll be able to figure it out because once you practice this way and you'll know exactly the same principle, it's the same principle applies. If you use a bigger hook, like 2 sizes bigger, it helps the curling of Tunisian crochet. Really? Oh, that's a good tip. See, I'll bet you what I did was, mind you, that was earlier in my crocheting days. That was before I deemed myself to be a master crocheter. If you're curious, this is Tulsi detox tea with a spoonful of coconut oil. I know, it's as healthy as it sounds, guys. It is as healthy as it sounds. It's funny because every time when I first drank that, when I first got myself to drinking that, I used to be like, oh my God, it is the nastiest thing. And then my model's like, well, if it's nasty, your body will never benefit from it. And she's right, because every time I drink it, I'll just think it's the nastiest thing. So we've replaced every single nasty or things that my taste buds are not used to, you know, like sweet and creamy and all the bad things for my insides, you know. So every time I replaced nasty or not delicious or something I'm not liking or used to, we just replace it with healthy. So now the healthier something is, you can imagine. But I actually have grown to like this tea or at least crave it or gotten used to it. The coconut oil is a new aspect because I starting this month, I started putting coconut oil in my tea because I wanted a spoonful of coconut oil in my body every day because it helps with your insides and it helps lubricate your stomach intestines and it's got a lot of good fats and, you know, good for your skin. And I use coconut oil in my hair and I do like a deep conditioning once a week. I would do it every day if I lived out in the islands and I didn't have to go to work and not worry about greasy hair. But on Saturdays I do it. I was curious what was about your tea, and thanks for telling us. No problem. That's why I like to share because I don't want you guys guessing. I used to drink coffee. I was a coffee addict for the longest time. And starting in September, I started cutting back from the coffee only because the pure caffeine of it, because caffeine is not good for my body because caffeine puts your body into stress, you know, because, you know, it makes it go like this, right? Caffeine puts your body into stress and stress is not good for my body. And so I try very hard to eliminate as much stress as I can, but I would keep waking up and drinking coffee every day. And so I had to figure out a way to change my habit from waking up and drinking coffee first thing in the morning. And then I replaced it with decaf tea. And then I drank herbal tea, and I tried all these different kind of teas. At first, I started off with honey and to make it sweet, and then I eliminated the honey, and then like I did it in stages, and then now I don't have honey at all in my teas, and I drink teas plainly. And then but the habit of me waking up and that ritual of making a warm drink, you can't eliminate that habit, but all you can do is correct. You can't eliminate the trigger. All you can do is correct the behavior that is associated with your trigger. So I wake up and I want something warm in the morning. You know what I mean? And with the funny thing about coffee is I didn't need it to wake up. I think I thought I needed to wake. I was just the habit of it, because I figured out that I was just as awake and just as alert drinking decaf tea. You know what I mean? Which is very ironic. But yeah, but that's why and then I should try the coconut oil thing. What did you? Oh, I had to try the coconut oil. It would probably help me a lot with. Yes, it really does. It. I have psoriasis, and in 2018, my psoriasis. At the end of 2017 to 2018, my psoriasis got so bad that my skin was raw from head to my ankles. And it was rough. Actually, I would go right in between my toes. So I would sit from head to toe. There was a point where it was like in between my toes. So I was raw patches. It was in stages, and my it just kept inflaming, and it got worse and worse. I've had it for 10 years, and I had one or two spots here and there. A little bit of cream, little steroid cream would do it. I did sun therapy for the longest time, like the sun booth therapy, and all those things maintained it. But something happened in 2017 and 2018 where it just went into full chaos, and I couldn't stop it. And I tried so many things to avoid the attack that was progressively getting worse and worse. And the only thing I never changed was my eating habits. I never changed. I knew I should have. I knew I needed to, but my addiction to bad food was too strong. And so it wasn't enough. So I was in the worst physical state, like mentally too, because when you're physically suffering from that kind of pain for so long, you end up with a mental issue because depression will set in, and I went through that whole thing. It was nuts, but I'm on the other side of it, so I can share these things with you guys. At the time, I couldn't share any of it. I was in such a bad state. And but I'm comfortable now that if I go through it again, should I ever have to go through it again, I will go through it probably a lot more. Like, I wouldn't be as hidden about it as I was before, because I was so ashamed about it. But now I realize it's not something that I should have been shameful. It's something that it was my body crying for help, that I should have did a better job at trying to fix it. So now that I'm good, I'm proactively trying to prevent that bad stage again. So yeah, chronic coconut oil is really good for chronic illnesses, because I'm not a nutrition, so don't follow me and say, Devone's advice. This is what works for me, because what it is, coconut oil is just a calming agent. That omega-3 fats, the long chains, all you could read all the facts about it, but what it is, it's a calming agent that stops from inflammation. It helps prevent inflammation inside your body, especially in your intestines and your stomach issues and anything like that. Yeah, I had to cut back on the caffeine too, probably TMI, but the reason I had to do it is because it's causing a lot of pain in my breast. Really? I never knew. It doesn't shock me. I wouldn't be surprised. But when you cut back, you felt better? Did you feel better about that? Oh, the other reason why I gave up coffee too is I wanted to the reason why it helped me, it wasn't just the caffeine alone, it was the cream and sugar. I was waking up to cream and sugar every day. And I wanted to cut back. First of all, I'm lactose intolerant, so I shouldn't have any cream. So I would substitute it with coconut oil or coconut milk or almond milk. And but I still craved. I was addicted to the cream and sugar in the morning. It wasn't really the caffeine. I was addicted to the cream and sugar because I didn't drink black coffee. I drank coffee flavored milk. That's what I drank. And it was and it was and that's what I was trying to get rid of, and that's what helped me a lot. And I went to the doctor for the pain, but it was so bad I was afraid to move. And the first thing she asked me whether it was I was drinking a lot of caffeine. That is such an interesting, and it doesn't shock me. It really doesn't, because caffeine's bad for you. I mean, think about it. It makes sense because the shortcuts in life. You notice the shortcuts in life are usually the things that are not the good. You know what I mean? So in principle, like when you're like, instead of getting 8 hours of sleep, 7, 8 hours of sleep, to let your body rest, recoup, process, let your brain process all the things that you took in that day, all the new information that you saw and seen, let your body rest. And so it could take in all the nutrients and do the things that it needs to do. Let the brain and the cells like clean itself out. Let the intestines do its magic. Let your whole like system clean itself out. And all that's happening when you're asleep. And if you don't allow yourself that time to sleep, which I was really bad at, I was functioning at 5-6 hours a day, at 5-6 hours a night, and that was horrible for my body. And then I would wake up and I would cut all that time off from its healing process. And then I would wake up and I'm like, I feel horrible. And why do you think we do that? That's why we go for the caffeine, because we didn't give our body the rest that we need. But if you actually gave your body the amount of sleep that it's allowed, that it's needed, that it's necessary, you'd wake up and you wouldn't need coffee. You know what I mean? Stopping the caffeine, stop the pain right away. That is amazing. That's probably honestly what set my psoriasis off like 10 years ago. Because once I started drinking coffee, I think I didn't start drinking coffee until I was 21. And there was a very specific reason for that very number, was because I'm Asian and I'm tiny. I'm 5'4", sometimes 5'3", but my license is 5'4", so it's legit, people. At least that's what I keep telling my hubby. That's independent. That's no, that's Liberty, by the way. The little whiner, the little guy, the big guy, I should say, the little big guy. He's a gabber, and so he's in all my videos, and he's always whining. And then years like my doll stranding hair video, it must have been him whining just the same here, because this is what he does. He likes to get in on the conversation. And one of the ladies like stopped and commented on my video like 3-4 years later, and is like, "What's wrong with your dog?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "This is why he makes it sound like I have like an ailing dog in the background that needs help." So now if anybody hears it, you'll know he's okay. And you don't have to ask me. Liberty. He's just laying here. He's just laying here moaning and groaning. Oh, I'm not making fun of you. I'm not making fun of you. I'm not. Wait, you want to peek? You want to peek? Can you get in there? Here. Can they see? You want to say hi? This is Old Man Lives. Liberty. Liberty, liberty, liberty. So you guys hear that commercial, right? The Liberty commercial. Liberty, 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 liberty. Every time I sing it, he cracks me up. I'm 5'2", and I know the struggle of being tiny. Amen, sister. You know, the tall people want to be short, and the short people want to be tall, but I don't know any tall people that wants to be short. I can be honest with you. Just like, the long, hey, okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. I got my water today. Last week, Indy was like, that's why the pup is smart, because he's like, I'm not going near mommy. She's got the water bottle near her. Last time, what was I going to say? Oh, when we have straight hair, we want curly hair. So my hair. I'm Asian, so I have poker straight hair, right? Although my model has wavy hair, so I shouldn't say that. Poker straight hair. So in my past, I've permed my hair 12 times. For the record, I've permed my hair 12 times. There are pictures in the 80s and in the 90s of this head being very curly. But every time I permed my hair, like a week later, I would straighten it back out. Every time, because we always want what we don't have, and then when we have it, we want the opposite, because that's life. My dog likes to whine like that too. Sometimes she's fine and she just wants attention, and sometimes we're busy and can't pet her. Exactly. And yeah, exactly. That is exactly what they do. But so what was I gonna say about my hair? Oh, so I was at that struggle for wanting curly hair for forever. Every time I would straighten it, I wanted curly, and because every time anybody had like beautiful beach wavy hair, that's the thing I would imagine me having, and so I would perm my hair, and then I'd get this frizz thing that was never like a beachy wavy hair that I imagined, until one day, and this stopped me from ever doing it again. So 12 sessions of this perming debacle back and forth, right? And then Mariah Carey came out with one video, and Mariah Carey back in the day when she was at the limelight of her career at the beginning, and she was like, her big curly hair, and she came out with that video. Is it something about always be with you or something with a friend? But her hair was poker straight, so she straightened her hair out for that video. And that video, and her hair looked gorgeous, and she was straight. And that summer when that video came out, I said to myself, I will never perm my hair again. I don't need to. Look at how gorgeous that straight hair is. And that curly hair lady straightened her hair. And you know what I mean? And so I was like, and you have straight hair, so you don't need to ever try to make it curly. Ever since then, I never thought, I don't even put an curling iron to my hair, which is so funny. And all I needed was that one video that gave me the permission to be myself. You guys have any crazy stories like that? I remember that. I was young. I was like 16, 17 at the time. So yeah, I permed my hair 12 times before I was like 16, 17 years old. When you think about it, I'm surprised I'm not bald right now. Whew. So, y'all, how do you like the new feature? Thank you, Juniper, so much for joining. Thank you, Sherraine, so much for commenting. And so I get to play with this new feature, and I can't wait for another week of this funness. And so Sarah and I had a blast when we tried this on Monday, because we're live at 6 a.m. on Monday morning. On Monday mornings at 6 a.m. for Monday morning motivation. And that's just to show you what it looks like for women that are getting up to pursuing their best lives, and what it looks like at 6 a.m. on Monday to start a beautiful week. And we always share a beautiful quote. So we work on that, something to inspire us, to motivate us, to get going. We talk about what's going on in our business, we're attempting, speaking of attempting or trying. So I just released the Mary pattern inside my Etsy shop. I have an application to Love Crafts. Love Crafts Knitting is the the babies. Hey, Laurie. Yes, I know. Laurie actually looks forward to it, because on all of our meetings, she hears Liberty a lot. Love Crafts is another, I think it's Love Crafts Knitting it used to be crochet, Love Crochet, and then it went to Love Knitting, and now it's Love Crafts and Knitting or something like that. But once I get the approval from them, I will add that to this, to my crochet video, to my tutorial video. And you can grab the pattern from there if you choose, instead of the Etsy shop. And what's awesome about that, me doing that, is thank you so much, Laurie. I am so thrilled. I can't tell you how thrilled I am that this pattern is finally done and out there in the world. I just feel like I can do cartwheels, and I don't know how to do cartwheels. Believe me, I tried many times, practiced many times, just didn't work. But I also did give up practicing. I should probably pick it up again, and maybe see it will one day work. But when I get the approval from Lovecrafts, they will put the pattern in the shop. And what's awesome about that application is they tech edit all their patterns. So they tech edit all the patterns before they approve it onto their site. So once I get the approval, that means it's tech edited and it's perfect and it's good to go. But if it's not, they'll tell me about it and they'll tell me how to fix it. So if something's wrong with my pattern, they will let me know and I can fix it, and then I can adjust it and put it in my Etsy, and then I will be perfectly tech edited pattern. Like my other two patterns, they're perfectly tech edited because they are both on Lovecrafts. And so I'm just waiting for Mary to get tech edited through them, and once it gets the approval, I'm good to go. But it is good because it has been tested, and if it isn't, just let me know. And I'm always here. I'm here and accessible, and I will be happy to fix it. And I will be super grateful that you let me know so that I can fix it, because nobody likes mistakes going around that are unfixable, especially when you've looked at something and over again, and you've done it so many times. It's always shocking to be like, oh, how did that mistake get through? I thought I missed that completely. 3 other people missed it too. So, but that's what's good about being on Lovecrafts, because they tech edit. And then the last thing is, I have just been, have you guys ever heard of Galilee Life? And once I get what they are is a handmade online shop for Christians. It's a Christian handmade online shop, and it's I'm not sure if that's their statement or anything, mission statement or anything, but I just learned through them, through Sarah, and she's on there, and she's doing very well with her Pampered Treasures line through them. And she had asked me to, if I was going to be a vendor there, and I was like, I would love to work with that shop. So I'm going to put my patterns in that. I'm going to be a vendor on that shop as well, in that platform. And I will be Sarah. So Sarah is like one of the board members there. I don't know what the official word is, but she's one of the leaders that they sought to help. And Sarah will be doing interviews for that shop, for that platform. They're doing interviews, kind of like my creative interviews. And she asked me to be the first interview to be on there. And I'm so excited about that. And I'm not sure if there's legal rights or whatever I'm doing here, but they're also creating a magazine and they want to feature me. And I'm like, yes. So I get to be a vendor in a brand new Christian platform for handmade sellers. And I get an interview and a magazine feature. Like, I'm so thrilled. All this is coming. And because I completed Mary. Yeah, no joke. And we sat on this project forever. Isn't that insane? Insane how my crazy procrastination has allowed me to get this behind, but I'm so glad. Oh my God. And one more thing. See, there's no caffeine in this body. I don't know how I could have drank a pot of coffee thinking I needed caffeine. One more thing. I read The One Thing. Not read. I listened to the audiobook for The One Thing by Gary Keller. That book is amazing. I never heard of that shop, and it sounds really interesting. I'll have to check it out. Please do. They are on Instagram. I just applied to be a vendor this morning. So as soon as I get myself approved to be a vendor, I'm going to list my 2-3 patterns in there. So I will have a shop inside the Galilee. So definitely stay tuned on my Instagram feeds and all that stuff and social media. And you'll know when that shop goes live, and you'll be able to go through there. And they take different commissions than Etsy, but it's a different platform. And I think it's a great way for me to feature. I think my patterns would do well on that platform, because my patterns are, the names of my patterns are Esther, Ruth, and Mary. So if you don't know, they are female names in the Bible. And inside my pattern, I have Bible verses that correlate with those beautiful females, and all just to educate and share what amazing, amazing women have done over the ages. You know what I mean? And help us embrace a little creativity, a little courage to stand up and stand up out, you know? And so I think that would be a great platform. So I thought us partnering would do very well. And from a business standpoint, am I worried about taking business away from my Etsy shop? No, because my Etsy shop is handmade, and I have my scarves there and I have my patterns there. And Etsy is like self-regulated, but it's good to be in different platforms as well too. But oh my God, as I'm saying this line, it's good to be in different platforms. Just finishing the one thing, amazing book. I listened to it twice this week. It's free on YouTube. There's a YouTube link to the free audiobook, so I didn't get it through Audible. Right now I'm listening to Good to Great for my Audible. No. Oh wait, you know what? Indy, come here. I'm sorry, Indy. Indy, come here. Come here. I'm sorry. Come here. Come on up here. Come on up here and say hi to everybody. Come on. It's so great about the interview in the magazine. Wow, I'm so excited. So awesome. I know, I'm so excited. I can't tell you how excited I am, Juniper. Come on up here. Come on. Come on. Don't be shy. It's because I sprayed him. Like, this is the little guy. Hi, Independence. Say hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Now the big guy's going to get jealous. Big guy's going to get jealous. And he'll be like, and then we're going to have a free for all. All right, guys, get out of here. We're done. Time's up. I know. I'm such a mean mommy. I'm such a mean mommy, just using them. All right. Yeah. So with that, the One Thing book, listen to it twice this week, and it is amazing. They literally wrote the book for me. As a multitasker, I know what I've been doing wrong my entire life because multitasking is a myth, and I don't think it served me. The only reason why I even got Mary done is because I applied the One Thing principle from those books. And with that same principle, it carried me through to not only film the video, to edit the video, to edit the video, meaning add the descriptions, everything, all the little steps that we take to work out the video. Not to, like, I went through a whole spiel about it at the beginning of the hour that I don't edit my videos. I mean, adding the show descriptions and adding the tags and everything. To editing my pattern, to getting all the shop stuff ready for with Mary, with Ellen, and correlating all that, to releasing the pattern, to sharing it on all the platforms, to getting my social media calendar set up ready for this pattern, to listing it on Etsy, to applying it to the Love Crafts, to applying to the Galilee Life shop this morning to get to become a vendor. All those, I was using that One Thing principle from that book that I was learning. And I can't believe that I have gone this long without it, but I know what I was holding back. Because when I'm multitasking and I'm adding all these items to my long to-do list, I just got overwhelmed. I know that's why I procrastinate on everything. I got overwhelmed with all the big ideas and all the big dreams that I wanted to do. And I couldn't focus on one thing until I actually focused on one thing. And when I focused on one thing, I got that accomplished. And then I focused on the next thing. And then I got that accomplished. And then I focused on the next thing. So you want to know the next thing after this? Meanwhile, every single day I am up there writing for the book, because that is my main goal this year, is writing for the book. But the reason why I'm going hard on these Mary pattern and the next one, which is Phoebe, these are the things that I procrastinated from last year. These are the things I carried over from August of last year and September. I should have had these patterns done in August, September, because I had finished the pattern. I had finished the actual scarves themselves, but I just procrastinated on writing the pattern out and doing all that stuff that I managed to do in a week. So I think in 2 weeks I will have Phoebe finished and released. And then once I do that, I'll have a creative space because those are my obligations, and they were things that I promised of people that I would do. And I'm so sorry that I made them wait this long because of my own shameful procrastination. But I'm working on that very hard this year. to get over that and to do better. And as I go through this quest, guess what? I share it with you. And so if you like all this stuff and like the things that I'm learning and the things that I'm trying to apply to improve myself, I share all this on these videos on my social media and in my newsletter. So if you're not a part of my newsletter, weekly newsletter that I only send one email, there's no spam, just one email a week, praying to God that I can stay consistent with my one email a week and share with you guys what I'm working on and what I'm trying to do to improve. And if you guys want to try one of those things, if you think they would help you, then by all means have at it and try it, and because that's all that we're on. We're just on a journey to have a successful creative life so that we're living fearlessly at being ourselves, the best versions of ourselves. All right. Until next time, thanks for joining. Until next time, guys, God bless. God bless. Bye.